G'day everybody and welcome back. When I first introduced the ST3 to the channel, I mentioned that I was going to fit a set of heated grips, and the time has come now to do that. I've been umming and ahhing about it a bit because there's a lot of grips on the market that have the remote mounted control unit, and I've never been a massive fan of them. They work really well, but I've never been a big fan of the look. I've always preferred a discreet, more factory looking arrangement. So I was on Facebook one night and I happened to scroll through a post put up by my dear friend Irene, and she put a photograph up, she'd put a post up on Facebook showing off some new grips that she'd bought for her new bike. So Irene has an R1, you can have a look at that up in the corner here. But she's just recently bought an RC8 KTM and she wanted to put a set of grips on it. And yeah, she put this photo up and I thought, wow, I really like the look of those. And they're a brand that I'm not familiar with, but I mean, I'm not familiar with everything. And I guess I'm just not looking that often. And I know that there's other brands on the market that are similar to these in their styling, but I really like the look of them. So I just asked her the question, where'd you get those? And she put me onto the Zaki website, which has an amazing range of heated clothing as well as motorcycle grips, etc. So I'll put a link to that in the description. So anyway, I get on there and I start thinking, I put them in the shopping cart, the ones I wanted, and I was about to check them out, and I thought, bugger it, I'll be cheeky. And I sent them an email and said, hey, if you're prepared to fling me a pair, I'll fit them on my YouTube channel, and if they're any good, I'll let the world know that they're any good. No guarantees. And that's not something that I normally do. I often get emails and messages on Facebook from companies wanting to promote stuff on YouTube, and 9 times out of 10 I knock it back. The only exceptions to this date have been the Insta 360-degree camera. How could you knock that back? And the STS smart turn system that I fitted on the XS 1100 for the auto cancelling indicators. So it's not something that I do very often, and I never ever ask. But to my surprise, they said, yeah, we'll take a punt. So they sent me out a set. The only problem is they sent the wrong set. So this set is the other set that they have advertised on their website. So they're Komine, which is the brand that I wanted. But these ones have a small remote control button that you've got to find somewhere to mount. Now, it is very small compared to other brands, and it's probably fairly convenient. I probably could have fitted them on the bike quite happily. The advantage of having that little remote is that the cabling on the grips is a lot smaller than it is with the ones with the built-in remote. But be that as it may, I didn't want these. Now, I didn't want to make a big fuss about it and go back and forth with them and seem ungrateful. So I am grateful that they sent me these. They're not the ones I wanted, so I got back on the website and I purchased the ones that I did want, which is these. These will go to a good home. I'm not sending them back. They were gracious enough to send them out to me. So I will give these to someone in the Riders of Tasmania, to a friend who's maybe not in a financial position to buy a set of grips but would like a set of grips. I could have gone down the Patreon route and given them away. However, I don't want to have to deal with shipping them all over the world, so I'll just hand these over to somebody in need within the Riders of Tasmania group who would appreciate them. So back to these. This is what I want to fit. Now, ordinarily I use heated gloves. These ones here are the 5 brand glove, and I bought these second hand on Facebook Marketplace for about half the cost of a new set. This was over a year ago. And the guy I bought them off had only used them a few times, and I love them. But they're battery powered, so the batteries go flat. And it'd be nice to have a backup, like a set of heater grips that you could put on if your batteries go flat. And the other thing is, I think that you could run them on a lower setting in combination with the heater grips, which means you'd extend your battery life. So that's what I'm hoping. So let's have a look at what's in the box for the grips, and we'll go from there. Rightio, let's have a look at what we've got here. So these are made in Japan, so you know the quality's going to be good. I'm not a big fan of unboxings. I like the AVE method where you open it with a chainsaw. However, there's not much to tell anyway with these boxes. It's all in a bag. So let's have a look at what we get. We get some glue and some extensions, because these grips are made to suit multiple length grip arrangements. So they come standard at 115 millimeters. And they can be extended to fit 120 and 130 millimeter length grips. Now the ones on the ST3 Ducati are 120, I think, which means I'll need the short extension. We get some cabling, the grips themselves, and some instructions. Now, nice lightweight cabling. This is the accelerator side, the throttle side. A little bit heavier on the clutch side, but this has the switch arrangement built into it. Like I said, the other ones in the that they supplied me with have the same kind of cabling as the throttle side. So if you're trying to be really discreet with your wiring, that's probably the best option. This is the control box, the Komine control box, and it has a battery voltage monitoring system. So if your batteries drop, if you happen to leave these on because you hardwire them in to the battery, at 11, once the battery voltage drops to 11.5 volts, these will automatically shut off. I'm not a big fan of that setup, so I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I don't like leaving them to fate. I'm going to fit them a relay. So I'll switch this with the ignition. You can just wire this straight to the battery and go from there, and trust yourself to turn them off, or trust the battery monitor to shut it off at 11.5 volts. But 11.5 volts sometimes isn't quite enough for some motorcycles to restart successfully. So unless it goes first go, I guess. Anyway, let's go and have a look at the bike, how I'm going to do this, and get on with it. Rightio, I've taken all the frock off, and I've taken a little bit more. Ducati have the ST3 and lots of other Ducatis in the ST range at least have a plug sitting in behind the dash assembly that is for heated grips. So this, if the factory heated grips were on this bike, this is where they would be plugged in. So it's simply a switched wire. If you turn the ignition on, this is live with 12 volts. I've removed the blanking cap, and while I'm sure that you can buy these connectors, I haven't done that. I've bought a Deutsch type connector, so I'm going to snip these wires off and fit the Deutsch type connector, find somewhere to mount the relay, and use this to switch the relay on and off with the ignition. Right, first task, disconnect the battery. Okay, get rid of this plug. Snip back a bit of this insulation so I can see what I'm dealing with here. Let's give myself a bit more cable to play with here. Throw stuff around. Okay, pins are on. Wedges down in there. Okay. Yeah, not the easiest of couplings to assemble. Probably why I've never used them before. Click. Okay, so I've got a standard 4-pin 40 amp relay. Just got to try and work out where we can mount that now. And there's plenty of room under the dash. I'm kind of thinking maybe here. Mount it like so, or even like so. Get it down a bit lower. Let's pop that bolt out of there and we'll have a look. So now my miracle brain is saying, Andy, why didn't you just mount it there and put spade connectors on the end of that and just plug it straight in. But here we are. I wasn't sure where it was going to mount. Just got to open the hole up on that a bit more. Okay. I think that'll work there. Alright, so this is this terminal underneath here is 30, this is 87, this is 85 and 86. So 85 and 86 are the two that we need to wire this cable to so that we can switch the relay. So we'll actually, we better just make sure the dash is going to fit first. Yeah, no problem. I can, that'll fit up in there fine, and there's plenty of room around the relay. Happy days. Okay, so we'll probably cable tie that down there, I think. Oh, that's the dash, so we'll just won't cable tie it down there. Just cable tie it across there. Only need a very short bit of wire then. Alright, I've spared you watching me crimp on a couple of sprayed terminals, but what I've done is I've temporarily reconnected the battery. We'll just check this. We should have a circuit a low resistance circuit. Pop this where you can see it. Hope you can see that. Yes, we should have a low resistance circuit when we turn on the key. Hang on. I need 6 hands. God damn it. Which we do. Turn the key off. Open circuit. Turn the key on. Circuit. Alright, success. We have a functioning relay. Alright, what I thought I'd do is actually fit the grips now and look at where we can route that wiring. I've got one of these throttle lock type bloody arrangements here too that I need to try and make sure it works. If I can get it out of there. Okay. The Ducati factory grips are actually fitted to the throttle. This could be an issue. Let's see how we go. Okay, so it's definitely going to be a problem in that these aren't going to work unless I butcher this tube, and I don't want to butcher this tube. What I might try and do okay, sorry about that guys, the battery in the camera went flat, but I've trimmed the end off this twist grip now and tidied it up at the other end as well. So I'm just going to refit it, make sure it still all spins okay. Alright, so now I want this, like when it's at full throttle, it's quarter turn throttle this one, so I'll probably cable tie that down with the, I don't want to be in the way of the brake. It won't be in the way of the brake if I cable tie it up under there. Alright, let's give that a bit of a clean, eh? Seeing as I've had my greasy mitts all over it. So they provide you with a bit of glue, which I'm hoping will also work as a lubricant. I'm hoping I can get it on over these ribs okay. Let's put a bit on the inside and some on the outside. Right, here we go. Oh. Bugger. Whew. Thankfully, I got it on there before the glue dried. Wow, that was a little desperate. Okay, he's on. So, and as you can see, the grip is a little short. So you put these extensions on, and that'll take it out to the right size. I can live with that. Yep, that works. Okay. Throw the one on the other side. Not sure whether this side's glued. Nope. Well, that slips on there pretty easy. And I want to put it about there somewhere, I reckon. So put some glue down. And on the inside of the grip as well. Just let that go off there, I guess. Alright, because typically I don't read instructions, that is going to glue on there alright, I think though. They provide you with some aluminium strips like shim material that you can put on if it's a bit loose. I probably should do that. Of course they're self-adhesive. Should read instructions. Do as I say, not as I do. God, I've made a big sticky mess here. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. It looks like you've got a bit of time before all that goes off, eh? So that's nice. Fit the other extension. Now these, like I said, they come with a one that's another 5 or so mil longer. And they also have caps if you don't have bar weights. Well, this is the bit that I like. Just kind of cable tie it up out of the way. Underneath the switch block here. And they just look so nice, just like a factory, just like factory. Yeah, tucked away neatly. Flush cut the cable ties so we don't cut ourselves to pieces on bits of cable tie. And as you can see, just looking from the rider position or any other position really, that just looks factory, and there's your switch there. Excellent. Okay, let's keep moving. Okay, I've been a bit head down arse up with the wiring. What I've done is this side here I've just cable tied up underneath to the throttle cable, and it's plenty of, that's full throttle there, so it doesn't actually catch on there. It just looks like it does, but it's loose. So this is the only bit that sort of hangs down that you can see. I've cable tied it down, followed the main harness, sorry, the right hand handlebar switch stuff. I've still got another cable tie to put on down here. On the left hand side I've followed the existing cable route, and I have cable tied the controller here. So all we've got now is this plug that we need to plug in from the battery. So I'm going to route the cable up from the battery up to the relay, out of the relay, and then I'll plug it in and cable tie it up out of the way so it doesn't rattle around. This is the plug for the dashboard. So I'll just throw a couple more cable ties on, and I'll come back. Okay, so what I've done is I've routed the cable up through, followed the other cables up to the top. I brought it up through here, cut and shut the positive side with 2 spade terminals, and looped it through the relay, ran the plug up to here and plugged into the other, the grip harness. So all of that's cable tied up there now because I hate shit rattling. So all that's left to do now is connect it up to the battery and try it. Right, so hopefully, if all goes to plan, I'll push this button, nothing should happen until I turn on the key. I'll bring this around so you can see a bit better. That's the lowest setting. Then it's green, which is the next, which I think the first one's 25%, the next one's 40%. And then there's like an orange, and then a red, and then a full red. And the full red is 90%. And that's the warmest that they get. I can feel that warming already. Lovely. All right. Now I've got to try and make sure everything fits back again. Put the dash and everything back on the bike, the fairings back on the bike, ride it home and try it. Good morning and welcome to the next day. So I'm on my way to work right now. It's just before sunup and it is chilly. It's not as cold as it was yesterday. Yesterday it was about -1 Celsius, and this morning it's about 3 or 4 degrees. So it's still chilly, but it's not as cold as it was yesterday. There's no risk of frost, I don't think. And I've got my grips on. So what I noticed, I rode home yesterday. I ran out of battery basically on the GoPro, so I didn't test them. Sorry, I didn't do a report. That's why I'm doing it this morning. And I did notice that when I got home, I'd turned the bike off, and obviously the grips shut off. And when I started the bike up this morning and hit the button to turn the grips on, they came back on at the same setting that the ignition switched them off at. So I guess if you don't scroll through and turn it off, they will just default to the last position that you had them in. But I've got them on red hot at the moment. They're still warming up. They take a few minutes to warm up, but I mean I can feel it through the gloves now. They're lovely. I've got the gloves on the lowest setting just because it is still a bit cool. But yeah, nice. Look, you know, like, they just look like a factory grip. They're not big and fat and like feel like hard plastic. They're nice. They look integrated. There's no remote box poking up in the face. The only other, I've only ever had heated grips on one other bike. It was a Triumph Daytona I owned, and it was a different pair of, obviously a different brand, a fairly popular brand with a nice big chunky thing here. But this, yeah, this is nice. Just got the little switch. I got stuck behind this truck the other day. This new jet truck, he's very slow. We may have to do a little step out around him because this road is terrible. It's chopped up so bad, and if you can't see, it makes it a bit dangerous. Yeah, so nicely integrated. I think it's. I think that they look absolutely fantastic. Switch it off.
cycle through the different, it's got the different coloured LEDs to let you know what mode, what temperature you're sitting at, or what position. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So it cycles from a blue through to a red. And yes, they're toasty warm, and they feel nice, and they look factory, and that's all you can ask for, really. So there were a couple of glaring omissions I noticed while I was doing a little bit of the edit last night. A couple of things. One, you know how I hit the grip? Yeah, don't do that. They tell you not to do that. What I should have done was filed or ground the ribs down on the throttle tube so that it just slid on there a lot more smoothly. That's what you're meant to do. What else? Oh yeah, I lost the battery when I was cleaning up that throttle tube. I ended up sticking it in the 4-jaw chuck to do the other end down near where the cable mounts. I just trimmed that up as well with just in the lathe. You could do it with a grinder, but for me it was just easier to throw it in the 4-jaw and machine it out. So I didn't show all of that. The reason is that, you know, it's a Ducati unique thing, I guess, for this throttle tube, and you might have to deal with whatever your bike throws at you in terms of throttle tubes. And the day was getting away from me. What else? I can't think of anything right now. I'm sure that there was other things I thought I should have mentioned that. No. So anyway, hey, listen, if you want to check out the Zaki website, please go ahead and do that. They've got lots of really good heated apparel on there, from socks to jackets to gloves to pants, you name it, they've got it. I'm loving my new heated grips. Hashtag not sponsored. But yeah, just a shout out for trying to work with me, Zaki. Thank you very much. Love my grips, love my Komine grips. It gets cold through here, I tell you, through Cambridge. There's a bit of frost in the paddock. Yeah, the grass is all white. It is cold this morning, I'm not kidding. And I'm quite comfortable with the gloves on the low setting, and the grips are on high at the moment. They'll probably stay there. Alright, hey, I'm waffling on. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment, and I will catch you next time on Andy's Motorcycle Obsessions. Bye for now.